what I'm going to do is throw science at you. And I'm gonna X out anything that's not scientifically empirical or scientifically plausible. And that father-in-law doesn't want to talk to me. Because like the Quran says, we hurl truth and falsehood and it knocks out its brains. If I start throwing science at you, like if you tell me there's life beyond the grave, I'm going to say that science doesn't show us that. If you tell me that there's physical resurrection of the dead, I'm going to say science doesn't show us that. And so this is why like no Orthodox Muslim wants to debate. None of them want to. They all shy away from debating me. I'm used to this.
Okay.
Because all of them will tell me,
okay, let's take it. No, let's take it one step at a time. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. If we can. So
yes.
You're asking me about the theoretical possibilities, right, of a topic, of a discussion.
Well, I was just naming one example. I was wrong when I assumed that maybe you just didn't want to message me anymore. But I told my wife, this is why your dad's not talking to me, because he doesn't want to argue with me like none of them do. Even since I changed, I no longer go to the local masjid anymore, and none of the brothers from the local masjid want to debate either. No one wants to debate with me. They all just say, Lakum dinukum waliyadin, okay, you're upon your way and I'm upon my way. That's what they all say. Nobody wants to debate. So like when I met you and you're interested in actually having a dialogue respectfully, that's amazing to me. And I'd like, because I haven't been given the opportunity yet,
Okay, so I understand. We got through that in the first, really in the first introduction. We discussed that, and practically we got to know each other, which was really good. I understand that there are a lot of things that you have on your chest. As you mentioned, Orthodox Islam. Personally, alhamdulillah, I can be very, very thankful that I personally have never conceded to this quote-unquote Orthodox term. And I must also admit, that, my belated mother, rahmatullahi alayha, also, she never really did prescribe to this term, Orthodox.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, therefore, when it comes to prior discussions or prior experiences that you've had pertaining to this term and mainstream and these other, as I mentioned to you before, these are all refuted, or I should say at this point unacknowledged as being part of Quran. So
yes,
what I hoped that we would come to the understanding of was the next topic is the basics of Islam. So, the very basics of Islam, al-Islam, which you mentioned. So you said, as far as you're concerned, what Islam was, correct?
Yes, as far as defining Islam.
Correct.
Right.
So give me that definition. Give me that definition one more time.
Of Muslim or of Islam? Well, they're synonymous.
Okay, let's do Muslim as we did. Let's do Muslim. That's fine.
Okay, Muslim is one who submits his will to do the will of God.
Alhamdulillah.
He may not always be perfect, but he submits his will to do God's will. Sometimes he may not always be, he may be off, he may not get it right sometimes, he may fail sometimes, but he submits his will to do the will of God.
Very good. Thank you very much for elaborating on that. And if we can move forward, because when it comes to that particular definition, I see no reason to have any kind of debate with you on that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, if we can move to the actual belief, which is where you say that the beliefs are different, right? You have some differences of belief. Let's talk about al-Islam itself. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the definition of it and see if there's really also a point of debate there. Can you tell me your definition of Islam and also elaborate, if you don't mind, on the basic tenets of Islam?
Yes, Yes, sir. So Islam itself means, like I said earlier, the two words are synonymous with each other, Muslim and Islam. So Islam itself, submission to the Creator. In the same way that a Muslim, the difference is a Muslim is one specific individual person who intentionally, purposely submits his will to do the will of God. However, Islam does not refer to one specific individual person in the way that the word Muslim does. Islam just simply means submission to God, period. And so we can find Islam all throughout nature. Like, Islam is actually everywhere all around us.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Yes. So, as far as the Muslim, one who submits himself to the will of God to do the will of God, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is the definition of a Muslim, and this is an individual. Like an individual will say that I am Muslim. And in order for an individual to be Muslim, you believe that that individual must take the first tenet, like they must say the Shahada. Do you agree with that or no?
Yes.